Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect, perfect. Oh, sorry for being late. Yeah, sorry about we'll see how many people we get. Something happened with my Outlook and the email, the reminder didn't go out. Hopefully not that you need that reminder email to know that tasting happens Wednesday, but by this point, but just saying. Anyways, we'll see. We shall see. How's everyone doing? How's life or things?
Sorry, super random, but I always read the emails to know which ones to chill. And thought is like I always just chill them because I feel like there's been enough. Okay, yes, we chill.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, I feel like it's easier to warm up ones than it is to chill ones. It's faster, it's quicker to warm up ones than it is to chill down ones. Depends on how you do it, but more steps involved. Yeah. Well, well, well. For some reason, I thought this wine was called post filtration, but it's not. It's post flirtation. Um, yeah, I mean, she has a whole series. It's a post flirtation red, flirtation white, flirtation rosé. But yeah, for some reason, all this time I thought it was a post filtration, but flirtation makes a lot more sense with this label. But yeah, anyways, it's more fun anyway. All right. Well, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the third week of the California 3.0 box. We're tasting this little gal, 2022 Martha Stoumen Post Flirtation Red. Yeah, it's got this cute little label. What we got? Just a few announcements before we get started. The invoices are out. There are some outstanding invoices out there. So if you are planning on joining, please take care of that. If you're not, no hard feelings. Just let me know so I can get that all wrapped up. But otherwise, I'll start hounding you probably in the next couple of days. So yeah, let's get that all taken care of. In case you have not heard, next month's theme is going to be Thanksgiving wines. I know it's October and Thanksgiving is in November, but that is all intentional. It's they're basically 4 bottles. I do this every year, but these are 4 bottles that I am stoked to bring to Thanksgiving table this year. Whether it be Thanksgiving table or something to drink during while cooking, while preparing for Thanksgiving. It's basically 4 bottles I want to consume on the day of Thanksgiving. So yeah, those are all going out next month. The idea is that you taste them all next month, and if you like them, then you can get them for Thanksgiving before November or in November. So that's the whole idea behind it. So next month it's going to be kind of a grab box of different kind of cool wines that I think is going to be great with a Thanksgiving food or Thanksgiving day. So yeah, all that's coming. Yeah, taste some really, really good wines and ciders and some surprises. So yeah, it's gonna be a good box. Fun box. Last but not least, we are donating to DC Hunger Solutions this month. So if you want to donate alongside 6 Foot One Club, want to learn a lot more about what they do, there's a link right there in the chat box. And just to put it on your radar, I talked about this last week, but so next month is going to be Thanksgiving. And then the month after November is going to be New Year's Eve. So it's going to be a sparkling box. I'm going to try my best to make it a full champagne. It's most likely not going to happen just because, one, I can't make it all 750 champagne because it's too expensive. Champagne in general has gotten way, way expensive. So I'm trying to make it all half bottles. I just don't know if there's that much half bottle available. So we may have to throw in some other champagne alternatives. Nonetheless, whole idea is all the bubbles, all the sparklings for the New Year's Eve, all the champagne alternatives, as well as champagnes. So that's all coming in November. And then finally, to wrap up the year in December, and I've been talking about this box for so long, but finally I'm going to pull the trigger and make it happen. There's some inventory that came in. So the December is going to be Georgia box. So country of Georgia, not the state of Georgia. So we're gonna do some orange wines, some reds, some different things, some cool stuff. But yeah, so Georgia box is coming this December to wrap it all up. So yeah, those are the next 3 months. Just kind of put it on your radar. But yeah, but for now, next month, Thanksgiving is what's on the docket for now. All right. So in case you're just joining us now, we're tasting this, guys. Sorry about the mix-up with the email. Something happened with my Outlook. It wasn't until Lisa and Whitney let me know that they have not received a reminder email that realized something got fucked up. But anyways, so I should just make a habit of checking that it was actually sent. But anyways, we're tasting this guy. 2022 Martha Stoumen Post Flirtation Red is what we're tasting. All right, so we'll map. Oh, I didn't open that. Okay, sorry, give me 1 second. 1 sec. Here we go. The map of California. Where'd it go? Map of California, right? Should look pretty familiar. Obviously, there are all these different parts, right? Redwood, North Coast, Central Coast, inland, Sierra foothills, all the way in the South Coast, near San Diego as well. I mean, there's wines being made everywhere in California, but really for the purpose of, and just in general, this is really what we're talking about, North Coast. This is a central center of the winemaking of the state, which makes it actually the center of winemaking for the entire country, because California produces the largest amount of wine. The majority of the wine that's produced in the U.S. is produced in California, and even within California, it's really North Coast that runs the game. Sonoma and Napa right here, right? Sonoma is along the coast, more west, and then Napa is to the east, north of San Francisco. This is probably the two names you are all familiar with, probably the most well-known part of California. But the idea behind this month was to kind of highlight some different areas, mostly North Coast, but different parts of California. So for example, or continuing that trend, this week, Martha Stoumen, her winery is based in, or she makes wine in Sonoma. However, the fruit for this is sourced from different vineyards. So there's some Mendocino, all the way from we've had some wines from Mendocino the first week as well as the last week. So some Mendocino. There's some Contra Costa County, this is actually an area just north of San Francisco, going up to Sonoma down here. The Contra Costa County is really interesting. There was once planted heavily with a lot by the missionaries, but after the popularity of Sonoma and Napa Valley, it has kind of fallen aside, and there are still a lot of old vine, own-rooted Zinfandel, as well as many different Italian some varieties that are planted there, and some missionary varieties that are planted there, but a lot of people have not been kind of paying attention until this California 3.0, the third renaissance that we have been talking about, right? That happened, and people are now paying attention to these kind of old vines. We're going to see some of that next week as well with the Sandlands, the last bottle of the month. But yeah, there's some Zinfandel that comes from Contra Costa County in this bottle. But this particular bottling is the most popular one that Martha makes. It's the most in demand. I've been wanting to put this in, work with this wine and feature this wine in the wine club for a long time, but it has been, the timing has never worked. Not only does she make a little bit of it, but we just could never get enough stock to work with it. But the timing all worked out. So this time I was able to get enough to kind of feature it, which I'm super stoked about. But the fruit for this wine comes from 4 different vineyards. So this is the Zinfandel for this wine. Oh, by the way, this is a blend of Zinfandel, Carignan, Pinot Noir, and Petit Syrah. Probably all the names that you're familiar with. If you are a California wine drinker, you've definitely heard of those names. Zinfandel comes from Contra Costa County, grown on sandy soil, all own-rooted old vine. Carignan and Zinfandel again comes from Redwood Valley, so it goes up a little bit more north in Mendocino. Mendocino is a pretty interesting part that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. This is where you get the kind of a continental part of the inner California, as well as the Mediterranean, the maritime influence kind of commingle here. So you get both of the best worlds. You get really kind of the heat and the warmth that comes out, but also the winter is moderated by the ocean and the cool air that comes in. So you get really kind of bright air, but like really good natural acidity. So really, really good place. I actually love Mendocino fruit. I actually think Mendocino is one of the most promising parts of California in terms of fruit. But yeah, just now people are starting to work with it. I mean, people have been working with it a lot, but for a while, but it's getting a lot more popularity now. Carignan and Zinfandel comes from Redwood Valley, planted in 1948, so pretty old vines, almost 100 years old. Pinot Noir from Redwood Valley, again in Mendocino, up top, and then Petit Syrah from Ukiah, Mendocino, which is up top here as well. Ukiah is this little black dot right there. So yeah, this is kind of like California blend, kitchen sink blend, essentially. These are all kind of 4 varieties that are pretty well known, pretty popular, pretty well worked with. A lot of wineries work with these 4 varieties, but this is kind of the third revolutionary renaissance I'm talking about California, where they take what's familiar in California and taking a new spin on it, putting on a new style, taking a new take on it. And in my opinion, Martha Stoumen was one of the pioneer of this movement. She's kind of the one who was at the forefront of all this movement when it was just kind of starting out, and she's still going strong. And a lot of these kind of wines that she's making now are moving away from this kind of Robert Parker era, really powerful, big, extracted, ripe style of California wine to these kind of fresher, brighter, lighter, just even in color, you can tell in the glass, right? Much zippier, kind of a more live kind of a style of wine. And that's kind of what I wanted to highlight this week. Last week, we talked about working with complete different set of varieties, right? Instead of working with this California variety, those 8 varieties that run 95% of the wines that are grown in California, which is a staggering statistic to think about. But people who work with like Italian varieties, making Piedmont-inspired white blend, Idlewild last week, right? So there's that, people who are doing that. But there's also people who are working with those 8 varieties, or one of those 8, or 4 of those 8 varieties, yet putting a complete different spin and stylistic change on them, or new take on them. And Martha Stoumen is one of them. So let's talk about Martha for a second here. Get to her picture from here. Hold on. Maybe not. Maybe not. Show a picture. This is Martha. She's kind of a badass. I love her wines. I've appreciated her wines for a very, very long time. I've always enjoyed her wine. But yeah, this is Martha. She was born and raised in Sebastopol, Sonoma. So she's from this area. She went to UCLA for undergrad. She studied Italian and agricultural systems, then became really interested in actually farming. So she was interested in food, and she grew up in Sonoma, which is kind of a, now you think of Sonoma as this kind of like a bastion of incredible California wines, but back in the day, Sonoma was really just kind of a farming town. I mean, there's a viticulture that was present, but it was more known for their vegetables and fruits than it was known for wine. And definitely that's kind of the era that she grew up in, kind of a hippie enclave of Northern California, so to speak. So she grew up surrounded by these kind of farming communities, became really interested in food, wanted to work in food systems. So she went to UCLA, studied Italian, studied agricultural systems. Then she got a chance to go to Tuscany to work in a farm. But it wasn't up until this point that she was introduced to viticulture. She was always interested in farming, but not necessarily viticulture. But going to this farm in Tuscany is what exposed her to wine. in viticulture, and her work began there in the vineyard, not in the cellar. So she kind of has this, all the winemakers that I really like and respect. A lot of them are first and foremost farmers, or at least they identify themselves as first and foremost farmers, and they think the good wine is made in the vineyard first and foremost. Then she's kind of cut from that kind of fabric, because her first work and interest began in the vineyard, not in the cellar. So she entered the world of this kind of wine production through the lens of a farmer, rather than a typical kind of young, modern California winemakers these days, they spend very little time in the vineyard. They purchase fruit. I mean, they go out and they see it, but they're not out there farming the land every day, getting their hands dirty and seeing soil underneath their fingernails. It's not like that anymore. But she is not one of them. So during this time in Tuscany, she also worked with farm animals, bees, and vegetables, and all these things. So she kind of views, and to this day, she views growing grapes and making wine as part of this kind of a bigger larger system, food system, which kind of gives her a different perspective in how approaches her farming and growing. So she came back to California, started working in wineries in Sonoma, but at the beginning, they were all kind of very big, commercial, conventional wineries to start learning the craft. But then she realized that these kind of conventional wines were not exactly what she meant to do. That's not what she wanted to do. So she spent the next 8 years. She first went back to school. So she went to actually UC Davis, got her enology degree. But she also spent 8 years kind of apprenticing around the globe. Some in Moselle, California, Marlborough, Fougères, which is in Languedoc, France, and Sicily as well, with the Giusto Occhipinti. That's a uncle of Ariana Occhipinti. He's the owner and winemaker at COS, C-O-S, which is another well-known, well-respected natural winemaker. He's from Sicily. Anyways, after 8 years doing that, she came back to Sonoma to start her own self-funded winery as a first-generation winemaker in her family to make real, true California wine, kind of real pioneer shit. She makes wines from unexpected varieties, so there's always kind of working with those different varieties that I was telling you about, besides those 8. But I think what she does really well, in my opinion, is these kind of new takes on the California classics. I mean, this in majority is Zinfandel here, the blend here. So it's Old Vine Zinfandel, which is like my gateway wine and what I grew up with. But this is nothing like the Old Vine Zinfandel that I used to drink when I was 21 and 22. But more than anything, what I really appreciate about her wines is that I think she really, outside of all the technical details, all the nerdiness of what you can work with and what to do with the farming, she really brings it down to this kind of all about human factor of wine. She wants you to know who grew the grapes, who touched the grapes. It's about the joy of drinking wine, and all of her wines are just kind of hedonistically delicious. That's what it comes out to. Everything is really pleasing to the palate. All of her wines I find really easy to drink, which is exactly the kind of wines that I like to drink these days. So now she makes wine inside a PAX cellar. If you guys have been drinking some natural wine from California for a while, particularly Sonoma, you probably know PAX, PAX Small. He's a pretty well-respected California natural winemaker. So she makes wine inside a PAX cellar. But she leases and farms 75% of her vineyards herself, and she farms it farms at 75% of it herself, which is pretty rare in young California scene, like I said. But she does purchase some just to make up the rest from farmers, old-time farmers who kind of farm the same organic, sustainable way that she believes in. While all of that, I know I just went through all of her kind of background, but I also found this video, and it's a little bit lengthy. I mean, it's 9 minutes, not super lengthy, but, for those of you who watch food shows on Netflix, this is kind of way the similar style. There's a lot of romanticism, but there's really good visual shots, and I think it kind of gives a good overview of kind of her thinking and her philosophy and all of that. So I figured we should watch it and drink some wine while watching it. So there you go. Let's see. There you go.
You know, when I first started out, I was much more diligent about like taking tasting notes and really creating a kind of a memory map to understand how to taste and smell wine. Now there's something a little bit more animalistic to the way I drink wine. It's just kind of like a sensory bath, the whole thing. Suddenly there's like a vacuum that was, you were pushing, and like all of your physical energy and mental energy was focused on this one thing, and then it's done. The winery turns silent. It goes from a beehive to just like a church. I grew up in Sebastopol. You're close to the coast, nestled between small coastal range and the mountains. It's kind of a paradise for me. Oh, it's my grandmother. We called her Grambo. Oh. And there's the apple trees. I probably spent 50% of my childhood up in an apple tree.
Good job.
August is almost 2 years old. He feels really present. When I'm with August, we're together and we get to explore together. I really, really, really love it. John is an extremely creative person. We found a deep love and connection through wine. A lot of the wines are autobiographical, so they have to do with him, because I started the business shortly before I met him, and so he drew this honestly on the back of a little piece of paper that I had, and it was perfect. And patatino it's like a term of endearment. It means little potato. And so, yeah, this is a little patatino. Wine is an expression of life and culture, and like our little life gets gets to be a part of that.
Well, mommy will just bring some of Daddy's coffee then.
The main philosophy behind growing grapes is to not take more from the environment than is being put back. The way the farmers I work with farm are pretty black and white compared to conventional farming methods. I would have trouble finding any similarities besides the fact that we're both growing grapes. And I don't want to give on any of these values of the way I make wine, so I'm not going to work for a larger company. So really my only option is to start my own business. But yeah, it's been really great. Everyone's worked super hard, and I feel like we've hit our rhythm really well, and yeah, I appreciate it. Cheers. When I first started working on a farm in Italy right after college, I felt like wine is food. I became very fascinated in food anthropology, and because I don't come from a winemaking family, I almost felt like I needed to find my winemaking family internationally, and I found mentors who I'm still very close with. I was homesick for my landscape and all the things that make me feel grounded. I want to come back to Northern California and teach people how you can farm in harmony with nature. Ready? Yeah. Oh, nice!
We've had a lot of practice. A lot of practice.
The best places to grow grapes with minimal inputs is in areas that were warm and well aerated. I knew Mendocino County was a pretty big hotbed for organic farming, and so started looking up there. Larry Venturi was one of the very first people I called. I really was thinking more from like a ground up approach, which is like, what grapes do well in California with the least farming inputs? We do what's called dry farming, which means that a very drought-tolerant rootstock is planted, and then a different fruiting wood's put on the top of that rootstock. We really encourage that rootstock to go very deep into the soil profile and find all of its own water. If you trained the vine to grow deep into the soil profile, you actually get better balanced fruit.
You never know, you know, in springtime you have frost, in wintertime you could have erosion, rains, one thing or another, and of course now we have drought, so
Yeah.
we'll survive that, we always do.
Always had that sense of a responsibility to the environment. Water is a huge component of this, especially in California. I became very fascinated in what are these traditional farming systems? What have we lost with industrialized farming? Irrigation versus dry farming. Fertigation with synthetic fertilizers versus composting. Tilling and spraying insecticides versus encouraging insects in between the vine rows. I feel like I could go on, but almost completely 180 views on how things should be done. The future, it's exciting, but it's, again, good thing I like problem solving.
To wine that Martha made, a great job. Of course, the grapes were grown here.
I know.
Absolute. Salute a tutti.
A natural wine is a wine that comes from a sustainably farmed, thoughtfully farmed vineyard. You're relying on the ambient yeast culture in the cellar, on the equipment, on the grape skins themselves to carry out fermentation. We're not inoculating with commercial yeast. We're not adding commercial bacteria cultures. We're being fully transparent in our cellar practices. We're tasting for flaws or things that we should be, alarmed about or worried about that taste different than our expectation. But especially with a wine like this, fermenting in a new vessel, there's a little bit of joy too.
We actually get into the fermentations and we do what's called pigeage, which is just foot treading the fermentations and punching them down. And that gives you a lot of information because you feel cold pockets. You feel how soft the grapes are or whether they're still plump, like how far along the fermentation is. This little microscopic world coming to life and all of these interactions are like little ecosystems with yeast and bacteria and all sorts of different types of species. And they're making all of these complex flavors that we can't even recreate in a lab. Nature is complex and diverse, and having consistency in a product over time is not the point of wine. It's going to evolve, and then my energy is actually put into this wine, and that wine now holds that energy in it. And then it's going to somebody that maybe I've never met. I didn't know quite how quickly they would come and how abundant that audience would be.
Wine spritzer for you.
We're at a really beautiful place in our moment of time where consumers are very interested in how things are done and whether they're environmentally friendly. There's no ingredient labeling on wine, so there are bigger forces that are trying to push back against some of that transparency. But I think if we continue to push it forward,
Thank you all for
transparency empowers. Wine it's a diary of a place. It's an expression of a place and a point in time. Once it's on your table, you get to choose what it means for you in your life.
Delicious out. I know. It's fine.
you like it colder. Where you going?
If that does not make you want to go work harvest in Sonoma, I don't know what else will. But that should make you want to go work harvest in Sonoma. Anyways, yeah, that's Martha. She's really outspoken about all that California transparency around farming, not lacking label, all of that. She does a lot of activist work as well. Yeah, so pretty badass. I kind of went over this already. So this wine is a blend of 4 different grape varieties: Zinfandel, Carignan, Pinot Noir, and Petit Syrah. Mostly all coming from Mendocino, the farm that the vineyards that she farms. And then Contra Costa County, Zinfandel comes from, there's some Zinfandel from Contra Costa County. This is all stainless steel. There's no wood on this. And they're all vinified separately and then blended later. And it does get light filtration, but there's no fining in this wine. Yeah, I couldn't get much more technical information beyond that, but that's what we have here. Again, it's a just very different kind of her own take on a classic California Zinfandel blend is basically what this is. So, any questions about anything I just went over before we get to tasting it? Cool. Let's taste the wine. Wants to take the appearance. Yep, that's how it. Come on. Somebody take the appearance.
I'll do it.
All right, excellent.
Let's see. This wine is hazy.
Yeah, it's not perfectly clear.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can see. I mean, it's not opaque, but
Right.
it definitely. Yeah, like I wouldn't be able to read anything through this and see light through it, but it is definitely hazy.
Yeah, it's not translucent in any way.
Yeah. And then color wise, or intensity, I would say it's medium. Or maybe like medium minus, like it is a little on the lighter side, but yes, a medium minus intensity of it's like kind of between ruby and purple. Like it's definitely got some purple in there.
Agreed. When I like tilt it over, I don't get a whole lot of bluish tint, but like when I see through like deepest quartz, like look at that, there's some like a blueberry-ish kind of bluish tinge to it. But yeah, for most part, I would still call this, like somewhere between pale and medium minus, ruby, maybe a tinge of blue. I think that's all excellent call.
Is it a because I feel like sometimes a wine, like you'll, especially like maybe more with whites or with really filtered stuff, like it'll kind of be the same. It'll look the same like across the glass, no matter how you're tilting it. But with this, it's like it's much deeper in the middle, like it's cloudy, and like as it gets to the end, it starts to get a lot more clearer. And is that just the sediment, the haziness, or is that like is it? You know, I feel like sometimes you'll see like an across the board, like it's all stuff, right?
In this case, that's probably it. Usually when you start to get like when the wine starts to lose a lot of color around, they call it the meniscus, which is like the edge of the wine. It's usually a sign of level of aging. The wines that have aged for a while, they tend to lose a lot of the color around the edge. It starts to get pretty watery. But obviously this 2022 is still quite young. And so that's probably not the case. So if anything, it's just that, exactly. There's a lot more just kind of a hazy, opaque, unfiltered, fermented protein compounds that are more concentrated in the center than it is on the edge. It's probably what I would guess. Cool. Excellent. You get to pick the next person for the notes.
All right. Heidi is right below my frame.
Hello, thank you.
All right,
I'm
Heidi.
on my phone, so I can't see shit. So okay, I'm smelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. out of practice now.
You what?
I'm out of practice. I haven't been for months. Like I feel like in months.
Sorry.
The new
So
job
the
is kicking
condition
my ass. Okay.
is wine clean,
The wine is
unclean.
clean. The wine is clean.
I will say this. I mean, the wine is definitely sound, but is this clean? I mean, for the most part, I would still call this clean, but I do want to know, like immediately, I do get just a little bit of an elevated BA here.
Mm.
It's not crazy over the top, but there's like a little bit of like a, balsamic vinegar kind of
Give
a
me-
thing running through here. But not in a fucked up faulty way. Like I think it's really lifting up all these red fruit out of the wine really beautifully. I think it lifts up the fruit nature, the red berry nature of this wine. But yeah, just wanted to point that out on the condition.
Yeah, now
And
that you
then-
say it, red berries for sure.
Yeah. Intensity?
I would say medium, solid medium, although I'm pretty far off.
Are you off
Medium
the rim?
plus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like up here. So I'm gonna call this
Mhm.
medium plus. My one is not, I just pulled this out right before tasting. So had you set this up for like half an hour, I'm assuming it will be more expressive, even more expressive. But yeah, I'm gonna call this medium plus right now.
Yeah.
What do you get?
I get really fresh red fruit.
Mhm.
Definitely the red currant vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
It's cranberry. I think red cherries in there.
Yep.
But like it's almost maraschino.
Yeah.
Like it's not a sour cherry or anything like that. It smells really good.
Yeah, I think those are all perfect. Red currant, cranberry. I still even like, to me, if I could somehow turn, I don't know if you guys ever had like strawberry with like a really aged like balsamic vinegar drizzled on it when it's like gets syrupy. As like they're in Italy or on Italian restaurants. To me, like there's a lot of that vibe, like strawberry with,
Maraschino.
drizzle of a balsamic vinegar on top.
And I think it smells the way pomegranates taste. Like I don't think pomegranates smell,
Yeah.
but like there's pomegranate here.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like red fruit, kind of like metally. And we skipped over this, but on the floral part, and it doesn't have it on here, but like this wine gives a lot of like hibiscus vibe to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Maybe
hibiscus.
that's what I'm getting. Maybe it's like hibiscus tea, not pomegranate, but hibiscus tea.
Yeah, exactly. Hibiscus, pomegranate, I think those are all like right on there. But yeah, a lot of like bright red fruit, floral kind of a vibe for sure.
I don't know that I catch maybe a little herbal.
Do you get any black fruit? Or is this all red fruit for you?
No, for me, it might have a little bramble in it, but like
Yeah,
very
exactly.
unripened bramble, but nothing like deep or like jammy. You know what I mean? Like black fruit for me is a little more I don't know.
No, 100% agree. That's exactly what I was getting at. There's a touch of fruit here that is not like quite possibly all red fruit, but like there's something exactly like bramble, which is to me is exactly that one.
It's kind of
really
wild. Yeah,
when it's like both red and black. And to me, Zinfandel is that. Like bramble is all about Zinfandel. Or Zinfandel is all about bramble. But it's hard to get. And Zinfandel, just by nature, it is a unevenly ripening grape variety. So if you ever go to a California winery or vineyard and look at Zinfandel bunch when there's fruit hanging, you will often see the bunch will have a bunch of green berries, and some are perfectly ripe and some are unripe. And that's notoriously a challenge with the growing Zinfandel because it just ripens unevenly. And part of that is what gives to this bramble. So you always get this some like underripe red berry kind of a thing to really ripe dark black fruit as well. So you get kind of both of the best worlds, both worlds. And that's what to me what. So given that this is majority Zinfandel, like you calling out bramble is perfect. But on that note, you have also mentioned you're getting some little green notes, like a little underripeness.
I think it's more like tartness than it is green.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Like to me, this is not like green like a vegetable in any way. Yeah, it's like to me, it's like really tart cranberry kind of a vibe. Yeah. Any herbal, any spice, any other rockiness, anything like that?
I think there's a little bit of wet stone.
Yeah, to me, it's there's a like the dustiness about these fruit. Like all of this fruit is not like perfectly clean. Like you had just picked them from the side of the road and they just haven't been washed yet. Kind of like vibe to these fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of like a dusting of a rock dust or dirt or something.
And I don't catch any spice on it. I think maybe on the palate because I already had some.
Me neither. Yeah, to me, this is all about just purity of the fruit. And this is kind of the style of Martha. Martha just really likes these purity, just pure expression of the fruit. She also notoriously does not block any malolactic fermentation on all of her wines, red and white. So all of her wines go through full mallow. And to her, I've heard her speak about how, in her experience, she believes mallow is what brings a little bit of that kind of savory balance to a lot of her wines. Otherwise, if you leave it alone, it can be too like fruit forward and too one-dimensional. But by letting it go through full mallow, it kind of calms down, and then brings out a little bit of like the savoriness, like spicy savoriness. I don't particularly get that. Like I don't particularly get like spice, like peppery. I mean, I can maybe see some like herbal, maybe some like
yeah.
I can't imagine.
But I can't touch it. Like it's like that tea thing. I saw someone write like raspberry leaf tea. Like it's more of a tea medicinal, I guess.
Yeah. If anything, if I were to take a guess, I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet some of these fruits were a whole cluster. So there was some stems thrown in here. And that's probably what's giving some of that little savory herbal kind of a thing, which is what happens when you do a lot of whole cluster, especially ripe with the ripe stems. So I get a touch of that, but in general, like you said, it's not really touchable. It's just ever so faint. There's some feeling about that, but it's just about really purity of that red fruit, some bramble, and then the hibiscus kind of a thing. Any secondary, any tertiary?
No.
Yeah, this is all right here. We're talking about all primary, very young, youthful, fresh. Cool. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
I'm on my phone. This is the weird experience. Ooh, Shannon.
All right, Calvin, girl.
Surprise.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Here.
Yeah. Sorry if you hear my kids screaming in the background. I'll go through this quickly.
All good. All right, take us from the top. Sweetness.
Okay. I think this wine is dry.
Acid?
When I first tasted this, I was thinking medium plus.
Yeah.
I kind of want to stick to that, but I feel like it's not quite as strong as it was.
Agreed. I was actually just thinking that. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna go with the medium plus here. I think I'm gonna go with the medium here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as strong. And again, this has a lot to do with her putting all of her wines through 100 mallow, full mallow. Kind of rinds out all of that acid. It's not like perceptibly sharp and aggressive. But yeah, I'm gonna call this about medium as well. Tannin?
Tannin. Again, I felt the same way. I put medium minus at first, but now it almost feels low. But I do feel like there's a little bit of tannin.
100%. There's a little bit of grip, but yeah, I think medium minus low. I think that's a perfect call here. I won't go beyond medium minus here. Yeah, it felt a little more. I mean, that's usually what happens when my wine is warming up in the glass now. But as the wine warms up, when you're tasting wine when it's cold, you are not tasting a lot of the flavor. You're tasting a lot of structure. So structure, I mean like acid, tannin, alcohol, things like that, without really having the flavors to back it all up. So the acid is going to come out tasting more aggressive. Tannin is going to come out, start tasting more aggressive. All of those things. So yeah, like what you were saying is like it makes complete sense. Like when you first poured it, it's kind of like medium plus acidity, but maybe now it's medium. You thought it was medium minus, but now it's low. Yeah, all of that makes perfect sense. But yeah, I'll call it low too. Alcohol.
I would say medium.
Huh. What would you call the percentages if you call this?
Maybe 12.5 or 13 dead on.
Yep. 12.5 is what the label says on here. That's about what I was guessing, like 12.5 was what I was guessing. So yeah, another thing, like you're working with things like Zinfandel and Petit Syrah, two notoriously high alcohol, high octane grape variety. Yet she's keeping this at 12.5. Again, stylistically just very different. It's just kind of a different thing. So Petit Syrah, I've seen Petit Syrah, California Petit Syrah get up to like 15 and a half. Yeah, Petit Syrah can get fucking gnarly. Yeah, but yeah, so at 12 and a half, this is like dead on medium. Body?
I think medium to medium minus.
Agreed. It's not like, yeah, I'll call this somewhere between medium minus medium. I want to go with the medium. Again, my wine is a little bit colder than it should be. So I'll probably get up to medium as it warms up. But right now it's somewhere between medium minus and medium. But yeah, it's not super big and, punch you in the face weighty. Again, working with Zinfandel, Petit Syrah, the fact that she's keeping this light and bright on its feet is just kind of completely different kind of style. But yeah, agree. I'll call this medium personally right now. I'll call this medium minus right now in my glass, but it'll probably get up to medium as it warms up. Moose, we don't have to talk about that. Flavor intensity?
I'm gonna say medium plus.
Yeah, agreed. It's very expressive. This wine to me is very expressive. There's nothing shy about it. Medium plus flavors of. Do you agree with all the things that Heidi called out? Anything else?
I do. I thought it was so funny you guys were talking about hibiscus and pomegranate because I was having that debate in my head. I definitely agree with that. So much cherry, so much strawberry.
Yeah.
And then you're right with the dustiness. Like there's that like soil quality to it. Like you feel like you haven't washed your fruit all the way before eating it.
Yeah, I check off everything that Heidi said: hibiscus flower, red currant, cranberry, strawberry. I keep going back to that kind of strawberry with the balsamic drizzle kind of a thing, red cherry, maraschino cherry kind of thing, bramble. The only thing on the palate, I actually get a little more savoriness. I get a little more. I wouldn't go as far as calling it green, but like there's something. I mean, I call this on the nose how I think there's some stem inclusion here, but there's a lot more evidence of that stem inclusion on the palate that I get, that kind of stemmy, spicy kind of character you often get with the whole cluster wines. I get a lot more of that on the palate than I did on the nose. But besides that, yeah, like little dusty kind of a flower, fruit, and all of it. Yeah, that on. Any secondary, any tertiary, or still all in primary?
I feel like I only got primary.
Yeah, me too. I think this is still a very primary one. Finish.
I think it's almost long. I don't want to say long. It's shorter than that. And I'm having internet issues, so this screen is really blurry. I can't remember what's one less than long finish.
Medium plus.
Medium plus.
Yeah. Right now in my glass, again, it's colder than it should be. Somewhere I'm ending somewhere in like medium plus, but yeah, I have a feeling this will move towards closer to medium plus as it opens up as well. But yeah, I won't call this long, but somewhere between medium and medium plus is where I'm landing this thing. But being generous, I'm gonna go with medium plus. All right, take it home for us. How good is this wine, and would you age it?
All right. Quality level, I would say this is good to very good. I mean, personally, I think it's outstanding.
Well, run it through for us. So
yeah.
balance. Do you think
So
it's balanced?
I do think it's very balanced. Nothing is really overpowering anything else. There's the intensity was medium plus for both nose and flavor. I just think maybe the complexity would be the thing that would kind of knock it down a little bit. While there is a lot of different red fruits, it's kind of really only in that primary.
Yep. And then the length, we also call that somewhere between medium and medium plus. So intensity is definitely squarely in medium plus, but the other two categories kind of fall in that somewhere between medium to medium plus. So yeah, I think your call of falling somewhere between good and very good, I think is an excellent call. And personally, just because I love her wine, I love her, and because I have a huge crush on her, I'm gonna call this very good. Would you age this?
No, it's so good how it is. I can't imagine it getting better.
Exactly. This is not meant to be aged. I mean, the acid, we called it about medium and medium plus. There's not a whole lot of, it does have intensity here, but the tannin is, we call it low to medium minus, not a whole lot of tannin to hold on to. So this is meant to be like a youthful, like joyful, drink it now kind of. So I would say don't put this on. I mean, I don't think it's going to get bad in the next, 2 to 3 years. I think you can definitely enjoy it over the next 2 to 3 years without any problem. But this is not built for longevity. This is built for immediate joy. Is what I would say. Excellent. Good job. Any questions? Any disagreements? Raspberry leaf tea. I can't say that I know what that smells or tastes like. I don't think I've ever had a raspberry leaf tea.
I had it a lot when I was pregnant.
Okay.
Me too. Yeah, I agree with that call.
Okay. Now I feel like I need to go try raspberry leaf tea. Any questions?
Have you tried the white one? The post-flirtation white?
Not this vintage, but in the past. Yeah, it's good.
I have.
Wait, didn't you just try it, Shannon? When did you say you were just at the wine?
Our local wine bar has the white wine on their by the glass list, and yeah, it's really good. I like the red better, but the white's also
local wine
really
bar is that, Shannon?
It's called Two Travelers Wine Bar in Temecula.
Can't get there right now, but maybe later.
Yeah, it's very good. Good place.
How many of you guys do you like this wine?
And I don't like Zinfandel, so this is impressive.
Right?
It's a Zin blend.
Yeah.
It's a Zin foundation.
But like it's, anything with Zinfandel in it, I immediately am biased against. Just the thing.
Yeah. It's funny because that Zinfandel was my gateway wine, but I feel the same way as you did. When I see Zinfandel on the label, I'm like, I don't know if I want to drink that. I'm probably gonna hate it.
It would be fun to do a Zin box because there's just so many. Like you could do Primitivo, you could do
Sure.
Tripadrag, because the
We
Croatian
definitely- Heidi, we
examples.
definitely need to do a Primitivo box and not a Zinfandel box. Otherwise,
Okay, but for the sake of the education, because if you do a
bring
couple
one-
Croatian
we can bring this
examples,
one back and put it in the
it's
box.
totally different.
Fair.
Different style for sure.
Yeah. Just saying, just exerting influence after being not here for a few months.
I'm also curious, anybody here who's usually a Zinfandel fan, that how do you feel about this one versus what you typically come across as Zin,
It's so different, but
right?
so delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different wine, right?
Every Zin I've ever had is like so inky, dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
16.5%.
Yep, exactly. Punch you in the face, knock you on your ass. But yeah, exactly. That's the
They
whole
come in a
point.
box, so that's good.
This is the California 3.0 I'm telling you about. Like it's not that what we thought as a California anymore. It's just all different. It's all changing up. So, maybe it's time to look at California wines again.
Dude,
all right.
one quick question. Is there a sense of like what the percentage of the blend is? So like obviously mostly Zinfandel, but like
I couldn't
how
find
much
any
is
information. I'll ask and then see if I can get the information. And I'll let you know. But yeah, I couldn't find that information. Yeah.
I mean, you could always invite her on another call and you can like fanboy her the whole time.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to see that. I would be like just stirring my words.
You mentioned this is a thing. Okay, go ahead, please.
Sorry, didn't Ashanto wines have like a bunch of Carignan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'm discovering that I really like Carignan. Like,
Carignan
is comes up. So
yeah, I'm a huge fan of Carignan as well. Yeah, she makes varietal Carignan as well. Hers was a blend, has a ton of Carignan. It might actually have mostly Carignan, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly what it has. Cool. Let's play everybody's game. Favorite game? How much do you think this is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf? By the way, this the sulfite level in this thing, she included in her text sheet. The total sulfites was at 19 milligrams per liter, but out of that 19, 6 was free sulfites, which is what happens just with a regular. So, which means she added 13 milligrams per liter of sulfites. So this is just above 10. Yeah. If you care about
compare, I don't know if we've ever talked about that sort of measure.
So there's no real like divide. This is what happens when you put 5, when you put 10. But I've had wine experiments. I've tasted side by side where it was 0 sulfites added, 5 milligrams, and 10 milligrams, and 15. Up to 15. So I've had 4 different wines at various levels of sulfites. It was right at like 10 that I started seeing some noticeable difference. Even at 5, I mean, 5 is almost nothing, right? But so 5 and 0, somewhat difference, but from 5 to 10, I saw a huge jump. It's like, whoa, like this is a completely different wine. And 10 to 15, again, another huge jump. So I want to say like 10 is that where things kind of start to become much cleaner, way less wild. Again, this is just one particular example that I had. I'm sure different grape varieties, different wines with different base level, pH level, and all that will act differently. But this particular one that I had was quite noticeably different at 10 milligrams. But 5 wasn't. I mean, it was different, but it wasn't like crazy different. But at 10, you're like, oh shit, I see it. So, anyways, she put 13 on it. So, all right, let's see, 35-40, 35-32 because it's California, 25-30, 20, 35, 45, 29, 40. All right, it's kind of ranges all over, but this wine on retail shelf would be 33. Which means if you find this wine on the shelf in California, Shannon, it would be even cheaper because 33 takes into account that cost of it, this kind of traveling from California. But yeah, I mean, for a small production California handmade wine, for 33, for this deliciousness, I'll drink that. I'll pay that for sure.
Yeah. What will it be on Case Club?
Depends on how much you get.
Well, I know. The other thing I wanted to ask is, I know we're in California month, but I'm tasting this and I'm thinking, you know what, this would be a good Thanksgiving one. So
At the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking
absolutely.
that too.
Yeah, anything that's like red cherry tart like this, like red berries, high acid, I think is a fantastic Thanksgiving one for sure, for sure.
I have to replace the Morgon.
I taste some Beaujolais today. There's some really good Beaujolais, so you know, candidates for the Beauj box. I purposely did not put any Beaujolais in the Thanksgiving box because you know I'll do the Beauj box.
I mean, some of us who run out of Beaujolais would be fine if you did a Beauj box twice a year, even if you.
Oh, all right.
Like, you know, I'm just saying.
All right, all right.
If it's profitable for you, we're here for you.
Noted. 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 Anyways, this would be $33. So there you go. Any questions about this wine or whatever else so far, California? Have you guys had Martha Stoumen before? Have you heard of Martha Stoumen before? Yeah, okay.
No, I had,
Yes.
I had a question. It looked
Yeah.
like the vineyards were pretty clear that they didn't have a lot of grass growing in between them. Is that just
Yeah.
because it's so arid, or?
Yeah, that
they cut
particular area is like a desert where she's planted. It's all sandy soil. She actually talks about it in her text sheet. If you the vineyard that she's talking about, it's like it feels like a beach when you walk on it. It's just like all sand. So not because of spraying, because of sand. And I don't know if you guys remember that one old vine that was in it that looked like a tree, like a little tree. That's a old vine Zinfandel. A lot of Zinfandel in California are bush trained, meaning there's no trellis and whatnot. You just let it grow, so it kind of like forms into this like a tree. And then when you trim it back, just what's left over is just gnarly, just like curvy arms coming out. It's pretty cool actually. If you ever come across old bush vine trained vineyard after it's been trimmed, it looks like a, I don't know, scene out of some alien movie. Crazy plant growth. It's cool. Any other questions? Cool. For those of you who are in DC, just out of curiosity, is there anybody going to the HFS Festival this Saturday?
The H Street Festival?
No, it's very confusing because it's also coincides with the H Street Festival that is happening this Saturday. But there's an HFS Festival. There's some, back in the days, a radio station called HFS that used to throw this music festival, but it's happening at the Nat Stadium. But the lineup is like, I'm willing to bet that at the median age of attendee there is going to be like 45. It's like all the Jimmy Eat World, Lit, Violent Femme, My Chemical Romance. Did I see that right? I mean, it's just like
Postal Service is
Liz
headlining.
Fair.
Postal Service. Yeah.
I agree with you on the median age, but I think the range is probably like 47 to 39.
No,
It's
younger
like
than
a
that,
very
like 35,
specific moment in time
32.
for these bands.
Death Cab for Cutie, The Postal Service, Incubus, Bush, Liz Fair, Jimmy Eat World, Girl Talk, Violent Femme, Tonic, Filter, and Lit.
It's
Right.
it's the Postal Service's last show ever.
Right. And that's nobody's Spotify list, by the way. I have no idea. Like, what? That's a
I'm
really
actually going with a friend of mine.
Oh yeah,
How did
yeah.
Liz
So
Fair get into the middle of that bill? That
Liz
doesn't make
Fair was a sub in, but she's great. I've seen her
No, I
before.
think she's fantastic. What's she got to do with lit, though? I mean,
yeah, yeah, agree. Excellent point. But
she's gonna punch lit out.
Yeah. I mean,
so-
she's the only band of like every single band there that has like a multitude of good songs. I feel like
Right.
they're mostly
I've
like
seen her before.
1, 2,
She's
3
really good,
hits.
but yeah, it's a strange lineup. I'm gonna be honest.
It is.
Yeah, I think there's going to be
It's
a
a
lot of.
nostalgic lineup for sure.
I think one of them, I forget which one, but they actually, one of their merch T-shirt is a Sad Dad Club. Because it's like these are all the like the emo kids from the 90s who are dads now. But anyways, I'll be there on Saturday if anybody's going. Hit me up.
Oh,
Let's hang
nice.
out. Yeah, and also, I don't know if you guys heard. For those of you who are interested in going, the tickets are still available. And apparently, I don't know if you heard this, Zach. There's apparently a fucking whole uproar because they thought they were going to sell out, so they put it on lottery system. So people who got the lottery bought the tickets, and later on they canceled the lottery because they had more than enough tickets not being sold. So after that, they sold a bunch of seats without lottery. People who didn't get into lottery ended up buying tickets anyway, and then they still didn't sell out. So they started lowering prices, and at this point, it's like at the third the price of the people who got into lottery. So like
Yeah,
people
I got him BOGO.
Oh yeah. So see, so people are it was like one for one, buy one get one free deal, right, on BOGO. Yeah, so people who bought tickets on lottery are fucking pissed, and justifiably so. And the organizers are not doing anything about it. They're like, whatever.
Well, what are they
I
gonna do?
mean,
I mean,
I would be pissed, but also, what are they gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they can do, but like, I understand their point of view, right? That they need to, probably just break even at this point, so they're just trying to move it. But at the same time, like it's fucked up for the people who bought it early.
There's so many shows this fall. I mean, because of the pandemic, like we bought every single ticket for every single band we wanted, and now we realize we have a show every like 4 days for the next 3 months.
Right? It's not bad.
So not coming to HFS, whatever it is on Saturday. Good luck getting there because of the H Street Festival, but fine. Good for you.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's also the same day that there's a bike ride that's happening. The 50-state bike ride is also happening that Saturday. So there's probably some street closure that's happening, and there's a festival, and there's music festival, and there's street festival. Like this, it's gonna be wild. DC is gonna shut down. Is basically what's gonna happen. Yeah,
doesn't take much.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways. Well, Zach, hit me up when you're there. Well,
yeah, I will. I think we're in one of the like 100 teens sections, I think, or 130s. It's like along the side of the outfield and the baseball diamond or whatever. But
all right, how much did you pay for it?
I think the tickets would normally have been 150 a piece, but we got them for basically 75 a piece because it was buy one get one free.
Yeah, that shit pisses me off. I think we paid like $120 a piece. And we're at like 205, like, and you are at like 130.
Yeah, these were pretty good seats. They weren't like the most expensive, but they were normally like 150 a piece. Yeah. So they're pretty good.
God damn it.
I'll buy a bunch of wine if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we can like
any difference, Zach. Come on, that's not
I'm hoping
I was gonna do it anyway. Joke's on him.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's re-entry so we don't have to like stay at fucking Nat Stadium the entire day.
There must be. I was thinking that too. Like that's a long day to be at a stadium.
There's no way they're gonna let you do that. No.
What?
Otherwise, because if you have reentry, they're gonna think somebody else is taking your ticket. There's no way.
Hmm?
Gonna happen.
I mean, it's gonna be like all. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not a parking garage, and it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
That's true. They didn't give us like wristbands or anything in advance, so or maybe they'll give them to us when you check in, and that way you can come back
I guess.
if they're the kind that you like can't take off. You know,
It's the same thing that you could just, well, I mean, if you're really thin, squeezing your hand, you could just give it to somebody else.
they have they have these like festival specific ones that they like cinch and you can't undo them.
But I have never been to any venue that lets you come and go. Because I know you really want to go to the H Street Festival because you were confused.
No, fuck H Street Festival, but I just don't want to be there drinking and eating shitty shit for like 13 hours.
Well, there's actually the issue with Nat Stadium is there's actually good food there now. So you have options.
Yeah. All right.
You could have your own hot dog eating contest.
Ooh. By the way, October 5th. Is that the first Saturday? The first Saturday of October 5th at HB Healy's Burger in Capitol Hill. Is their first year anniversary, and they are hosting a burger eating competition. So yours truly will be entering that competition. So
you're hosting a burger eating competition?
It is
bring a bucket for you. I mean,
it's a 6-patty burger, and whoever is the fastest basically gets their burger named after them, and you get a burger for free. And this is the whole thing. So there's another guy, Rob, who's another chef in the city. So he ate one in 80 seconds. So I went on Jesselyn's last day. I went in and did it, and they actually recorded me, but they think that I tied him, did not beat him. So now I have to go back, and I totally just took the first half way too slow, and I can do it faster. So I'm like, I need to go back and reclaim my throne.
How long did you fast for before you ate that burger?
Oh no. I actually ate that burger and then had like chicken nuggets and fries. I wasn't like, it wasn't full. Like
you're a beast.
It was like a speed thing.
Okay. Well, I mean, I gotta come and watch that.
Yeah, so if you guys want to come to a HEB anniversary party and watch me down a 6-patty burger under 80 seconds, then there you go.
Their burgers are good.
Their burgers are very good. It's very good. So there's that. Yeah. Oh, also, I don't know if this the wine crawl in Brooklyn is gonna happen. Not enough people can serve as a destination. So I don't know if it's gonna happen.
You know, I would totally be in, but I'm not.
I know. Yeah.
I have the tent, I have the backyard, I have all the things. But
so yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm thinking of maybe something else, maybe some other way for us to get together. But anyways, it's looking very unlikely that is at this point.
Well, it's a good concept. Maybe if like you want to like pick it for the spring, then we can make it happen.
I don't know if it's like the length of time or it's just that, you know, a lot of people have little kids. So they're
like if we can plan it in advance, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I can say I cannot go to that place because Woong is doing his Brooklyn Wine Club.
Yeah, and no. But what I'm saying is, it's not just the one like final gathering point, which is when you're gonna, but bunch of people.
You need a critical mass. I get it.
Yeah. Right now, I have like 3 people that are like, yeah, I'll be a destination.
I mean, it could be a crawl.
If there are other people in Petworth, we are happy to host as well. If there's concentration in Petworth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. I'll send out an email to Petworth people tomorrow to see if I think there's enough Petworth people. but I don't know if there's going to be enough people who are willing to host.
Yeah, I'm trying to like walking between like, because Kelly's Columbia Heights, but like, I don't know what that walk would be, but yeah, no, we're happy to host.
Okay.
I've got all of that Riesling I got from my friend who was moving. It's like so much really good Riesling that
He gave
has
up
to be
wine because he's moving. He does realize you can move wine, right?
So he was moving to Rotterdam, Netherlands, and was taking. I mean, he had a lot of booze. He was like he ran a spirits aficionados group, and so was like had lots of different.
We also were
things.
not motivated to tell him that you could move with.
No. He was. He took like 7 cases of spirits and a bunch of wine, but like they were like, we have a shipping container and have to put all of our stuff in it, and
I
so
need more friends like that. I really do.
yeah, no, it was a great like farewell party with people just walking out with cases and cases, and yeah, I probably walked out with like a grand worth of spirits just because of some of these random bottles that were like, you know, 200, like a half full bottle of like they would have been $200 at the time or something, like
yeah,
but yeah, no, it was a great time, and I have like I think I got like 2 cases of Riesling that yeah needs to be drunk.
Wine party.
All right.
Wine party.
Riesling party.
I mean, honestly, I wasn't gonna personally walk in there to see if I can talk to somebody, but to do like a Riesling and Panda Gourmet night if this whole thing falls through.
Oh, that would be fantastic. You just need to walk in, or when my kid is back, I'll have him come and translate for you. We can make it work.
Or that. Yeah, exactly. I think they don't understand what I was saying on the phone. So I think I just need to be there in person.
I will send you the name of who you need to talk to. The mom doesn't really understand. The daughter is their business manager.
Yeah. Is she the one who's always answering the phone in the front?
The mom sometimes does, but the daughter is the one who does all the.
No, she's young. Yeah, she wears glasses.
I have all the names. They've been pretty supportive of my kid's school over the years. So
excellent.
Where are you
excellent.
trying to go, Un?
What's that?
Where are you trying to go? Or are you trying to host it?
Panda Gourmet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed the other day they changed the name of the hotel. It's not a Days Inn.
Yeah. It's whatever it is now. Express.
Yeah,
Also, Lisa,
what
did you
motel
also
is it
think
now?
it was Did you also think Panda Express when you said that? Because I was like, interesting.
They're very different.
I was like, I'm here for it, but not what I expected you to say.
Panda Gourmet is
Yeah.
like
I'm not above it. I was just surprised.
Yeah, I'm not against it.
No.
I was, for some reason I had the sense that he was talking about a Chinese restaurant, and I was like, oh, Chinese restaurant, that's up my interest alley. And so I was
because I said panda.
I think so. I was reading my phone, and then I was reading my phone, but I think I must have like subliminally like heard panda.
I mean, you're not wrong. If there's a panda or dragon in the name, it's most likely a Chinese restaurant.
Not generally a good one.
I was like, are you talking about a Chinese restaurant? What's the story? Yeah, I do like Panda Gourmet. We don't go that often though, because it's like so far.
For some of us, it's not far at all. Yes.
Yeah, we're out in the burbs.
They deliver to like most of DC. I get it like once a week.
We're in Silver Spring, Maryland though. It's I feel like
Maybe
we
not-
have gotten
maybe
it
not.
delivered, but there's like a big surcharge. There's like, I mean, by big I mean like $10 or something. But
Does Peter Chang not have a location up in Silver Spring, Rockville, that area?
there is in Rockville, but that's again also far. And then Bethesda. Yeah. There's downtown Silver Spring just opened like a cool like Chinese restaurant called You Noodles. This is really of only interest to me because it's probably like way too far for anybody else to go to eat.
Yeah.
Like Sichuan snacking noodles, like little snack
Oh, yeah.
size miles, but yeah, it's downtown and it's like walking distance / very Uber Eatsable. So that's what we tend to go to.
No good food is too far, if you ask me.
Fair. I think they have two other. I think I saw that they have like 2 other locations in the city, so there might be one that's like closer to you too. But
Not the place that's across from the parking garage that's on the other side of
Yeah.
like my wife goes to the ballet studio there a lot, and so she has brought that home a couple times. It was really good. Like,
oh yeah, you guys liked it? Oh good. Yeah. And I just looked, yeah, I was considering ordering it from today and I didn't, but I saw that they have like a bunch of new stuff on their menu, so that was exciting.
and my wife is fussy about her Cantonese cuisine. So
As she should be.
as she should be, 100%.
I'm so excited to know they deliver. That is really important to me. So thank you for sharing that news.
Yeah, I did not know that was a thing. Yeah. Fair, like, I know what we're getting tomorrow.
The trick for Delivery Panda is you have to use DoorDash. Uber Eats, they like crank their prices up because Uber takes like a bigger cut. So I always get a DoorDash.
Good pro tip. Thank you.
What is by the way, this may be a hot take or it may be a hot topic to discuss, but where is everybody's favorite dumpling place in DC or around DC? I guess it depends on what kind of dumplings.
What kind of dumplings?
For us, full key on H Street. Okay, but then
Chinatown, full key, yeah. Okay.
It's not as good. So, you know, like when we do like a Chinese dinner night, we have to like order from several different places. So the best noodles in town is from China Boy, because that's where they make them by hand. Okay, it's like on 6th Street.
Rice noodles, yeah.
But they're open very strange hours and it's totally casual. But they don't have any duck, which my kid really likes, and so I need to get that from somewhere else. I would say dumpling wise, I mean, we haven't been blown away by anybody's dumplings. Like if you like it in spicy sauce, the ones you can watch, like if you go early enough to Panda Gourmet, the mom and dad are sitting at a table making the dumplings by hand. At a table, right? And, you know, which I've done with my, you know, father-in-law and all that sort of stuff. So those are probably the best ones. But if you don't like spicy, it's just because they douse them in the Szechuan sauce. And it's, I mean, for me, it's amazing. But if you don't like that, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the dumplings, I guess.
Like, though, there's a Peter Chang restaurant in DC called Chang, and like, we did a graduation dinner for my kid, my eldest, who graduated from high school, and their dumplings were like excellent. Like, really, and you know, I have a half Hong Kongese spouse, and she was like pretty impressed.
Ah, okay.
The other place that's not bad is the place in Cleveland Park.
Wait, what's the name?
Hong Palace.
Yeah,
it's not bad. Like it's fairly legit, but they don't take reservations, which as a family we don't do because
somebody was, you know, the other day we're talking about dumplings for some reason, and then I was like, you know, this was the hot take because I said I'm yet to find a place in DC that has good dumplings.
Well, it depends.
Yeah, I think that's true because so it depends on what you're looking for, right?
Or you know.
Yeah, I think you're like there's some places in New York I really liked when I lived there that were just like this, like you just get like a plate and there's a little liquid on the plate and it's like these dumplings that are just like, you know, it's like the style of crimping them where it's just like casually kind of like crimped, you know, it doesn't have all the plates and anything, but it's like, you know, it's just like on the plate. It's like a very sort of like casual northern dumpling kind of place. And that situation I have not found that situation, right? There's kind of like thinner doughs, right? Like thinner, softer chili sauce situations or whatever, but this sort of like classic like northern dumpling just eatery that's like really common in like New York, like Chinatown and Flushing, just like doesn't exist here. So it's you know, Make them yourself.
I didn't think DC was that bad until I went to the West Coast like several times and was like, oh yeah, it's bad here. Like after doing like San Francisco and Seattle, I was like, oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. No,
I find
I,
that these
I think we're particularly bad with like I think we have great Szechuan, we have great like Thai, we have all this Lao cuisine that a lot of places don't have. But you're right, dumplings, we don't do that well.
Yeah.
Well,
Has anybody had QXY dumplings in Chicago? Those are the best dumplings I've ever had. It's in Chicago, Chinatown, but if anybody is in Chicago, like it's worth a trip.
It's like I find the places like in DC like kind of like incoherent because like so Panda Gourmet I like because like I think the family that runs it, I think they are from northern China, and so that like they make Sichuan food and they make it Sichuan because like that's just what's popular. But like I think I read an interview where the guy's like, no, like I want people to eat like my food or whatever, and so like there's a whole section on the menu, I think if I remember correctly, that's like more like northern or like or whatever, but like but it's like a little bit of anyway. I really like
Dad is from Chengdu and mom is from Harbin.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, so there's like more of like this is like mostly a Sichuan restaurant, but like we're gonna add some stuff that like maybe Americans will be less familiar. I do like and it hasn't come up. What's that place in College Park? Do you guys know?
One like right on Route 1.
It made the Washingtonian list.
The
like Northwestern Chinese?
Yes.
Super northern.
Yeah. I do like that place. I don't know if I've had their dumplings specifically, but it's like
I don't think they have dumplings. I don't think I
absolutely do. You just need to ask it. But they're super thick, like super thick.
Their noodles are fucking great though.
I know they do a great job. And you know where they get their noodles from? China Boy. So
wait, what?
Like
China Boy only wait, I thought China Boy only made rice noodles. They serve wheat noodles.
They make the buckwheat noodles for all the Japanese restaurants. They make the wheat noodles. They're like the source of noodles for the entire.
I didn't know that. Yeah, when I was at the Source, we used to get our rice noodles from China Boy. And they were the best, honestly. Like nothing comes even close to it.
And what you like, they will just give you a block of it for like $4.
Yeah,
which is like
we used to the sous chefs who run there come with like this block over their shoulder. Yeah, it's really good.
So the only other dumpling place that I can say I would recommend, I'm blanking now that I've started my sentence, is I feel like never mind. Move on. I will come up with an.
And come back to it. But do you ever just make them at home?
That was like not. It was not bad.
But do you ever just make them at home? Because
I have made it at home. Yeah. I don't make,
right? Like
I don't make enough of it, but yeah, I have done it before. But
it's a good thing to do in front of a movie you don't care about and those sorts of things. Yeah. No.
Yeah, they freeze well.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm all about making them at home, but it's just like there's so many different kinds of dumpling you could.
That's true.
So it's just
like I mean, the real ones are pork with like, I mean, the original, right?
I mean, I like
on the TV with my father-in-law not talking, making like 500-600 dumplings at a time. So
wait, hold on before breaking from the dumpling conversation for a second. Just got an email from my rep. Chris is 62% Zinfandel, 34% Carignan, 3% Pinot Noir, 1% Petit Soir.
Well, then I love it, even though it's 62% Zinfandel.
Zin, yeah. So most of these Zin and Carignan with just a splash of Pinot Noir and Petit Soir. Full Key is a good one. I like Full Key.
It used to be it. Yeah, I haven't gone back. Like when my wife was in law school, that's where we went all the time.
Yeah, Full Key was good. Full Key back in the days.
They were so great to the kids.
Yeah.
And but then they changed ownership, and we haven't been back a lot. There was a place around the corner. China Express, which we used to go to for certain things. Duck wasn't bad, but I don't know if they've reopened, and the place next to them had some other things that were acceptable. So
That's
we can,
China
like,
Express is the one with a window in the front, right? Where they're rolling the
it
dough.
did,
and-
but I don't know if it's back open or not, because it was anyway. Like that used to be our go-to, but now there's a place next to it, like which is I don't know. It's named after some Taiwanese movie that I'm not processing right now.
What are you dumpling connoisseur's opinion of Bob Shanghai
I don't think I've had that.
in Rockville? There's Bob. There's Bob, and what's the other one? What's the other
I've been to Bob Shanghai Place. They're
Yeah.
kind of rude, but
Yeah,
it was fine. Like
I
it was
thought
like
it was
kind of your
good.
place that you get like everywhere in like Hong Kong. It was fine.
I thought it was good, but it was a little, I thought it was a little pricey. It was like you had to wait really long. I also haven't been back since like post-pandemic. So like yeah, my reviews are old. I haven't.
Yeah, it's always Bob's and the A&J. Those are like
Oh,
the two.
we love A&J, but
A&J
that's
is great.
again
Yeah.
with the styles, right? Like that's like I know they call themselves like Northern Chinese or whatever, but they're Taiwanese. Like the style is Chinese,
It's
you know what I mean?
Taiwanese,
Like it's totally Taiwanese.
I didn't even realize they even called themselves Northern Chinese.
Yeah, I lost my mind because the Washingtonian article called them Northern Chinese, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then I realized that they self-describe themselves that way, and then I like felt conflicted about that. But anyway, yeah, no, we love A&J's. We go all the time.
No, A&J is great. I like A&J quite a bit. But again, like for dumplings specifically, like
Yeah.
like Bob's, Shalom Bao.
Long way to go for that, right?
Yeah. I don't know
My kids are super influenced by social media, and they love soup dumplings these days. And quite frankly, they have bought Simu Liu's soup dumplings, and they're not bad.
It's not bad. I've got them too. They're not bad.
No.
Wait, question. Does he have a brand? Like
Yes.
He was brought on. It's not his company, but he was brought on as like the chief marketing officer, and I think he's in it now. Like he also like got equity in the company. But it started by this like couple. I think they're Chinese, but like yeah, it's called Mila. Is that the one you're talking about? It's Mila, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a frozen dumpling, frozen. I don't know, like
They're like a good like weeknight meal. Stop my children from complaining.
Interesting.
But is it better than like, I mean, I had soup dumplings at the 99 Ranch, like checkout lady told me was on promotion and forced me to buy last time I was there. And I thought we ate them yesterday and we thought they were good. They were fine. They were good.
Ones are like, I mean, if you're not in like New York, Chinatown, I don't know where you get like soup dumplings here, but like they're totally passable. They're like super
Bob
fancy.
Shanghai sells frozen Shalom Bao by like 50 and 100.
I understand, like a huge amount of shalom.
Yeah,
I get it, but yeah.
But also Mila Hadley, they're geniuses with like marketing. Like they partner with all these influencers and different people. So there's this Malaysian comic called Nigel, and he's a stage name, Uncle Roger. So they partner with him, and they came out with chili crab noodles, and that one is actually also not bad. I wanted to hate on it so badly, but then I tasted it and I was like, you know what, this is actually not bad.
Right. When I'm lazy, that's totally fine, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not driving to Rockville
you can
from Stronghold or wherever you are, right?
I'm surprised you can do soup dumplings frozen, that they would do well at all. I think of those as being like just fancy enough. Like I've done like frozen dumplings, but like that soup dumplings translated. Interesting.
Oh no, it's great.
They're fine. Yeah. I mean, you have to have a steamer, but like to cook them. But
those are cheap.
Yeah. All right. My search for quest for great dumplings in DC continued.
Did you see that Din Tai Fung just opened in New York? Helen Rosner in the New Yorker wrote about it, and like yeah. I'm like really, I want to go. I love. So speaking of soup dumplings, that's where you get your like amazing 18 folds or whatever, like perfect.
Yeah. Din Tai Fung does it. They do it for sure.
My wife has a favorite soup dumpling place as well because she left her phone there at one point. and they're amazing. So it's in Chelsea, and it's like very good. So I'll send that to the group later.
All right, so I'm also happy to know that I'm not just hating, because I was like, there are no good dumpling places in DC, but everybody else also.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
passable places. Like how
Yeah,
hungry are you, man?
no, totally. A lot of passable places, but I'm
Like,
talking about.
what was the pop-up that was on like who was the guy who had the pop-up during the pandemic?
At Union Market.
No, well, he started at Union Market and had a bigger place that was like
Those were
on
crap.
New York Avenue or one of those, like whatever the sub streets are once they get into the city.
I don't know.
And he's opened a real restaurant, and like their dumplings are
Is it Laoban dumplings?
Laoban, yeah.
Laoban sucks.
Laoban in Union Market is pretty decent. But again,
I've never had it.
Agree.
Oh,
that's not true. I had it once, but I got
blocks away from your house. What are you talking?
No, but I got a vegetarian dumpling once, and it was fucking terrible. I was like, what is this?
I will say we do feel left out of the dumpling convo, that we can only do veggie dumplings, and they're just not.
No, it's not the
Okay, but this is the thing about the like places in New York, right? That do the like, this is what I'm talking about, where I just think of like a true like dump, like you go there to eat dumplings, right? And like bowls of like hand pulled noodles.
Dumpling shop.
Yeah, like a dumpling shop, right? Where it's like it just comes out, everything's boiled. It's a northern style place where they just like boil their dumplings. They have like tons and tons of them, and they come out on the plate. They have excellent vegetarian dumplings, right? It's like glass noodles.
Pork in them to give them flavor.
They don't like there's like glass
100%.
noodles.
They like sprinkle the pork on top. It's the same thing.
I like Lisa's answer better and choose to believe her.
Yeah. And so, I think, there's a whole bunch of things that like sesame, like it's like sesame oil, shiitake mushrooms, right? Glass noodles. Yeah. It's the veggie dumplings are delicious.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you go to a place that says they're vegetarian, it's Chinese, it's gonna have something that's meat oriented in it, whether you like it or not. It's just a thing, right? I mean, we went to China a few years ago with my kid, and we had a whole bunch of like vegan/vegetarians, and you would think there'd be a ton of like Chinese food that works, like noodles and all these sorts of things, and they're like, well, are you okay with shrimp?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of not. And then
Like shrimp and pork are big.
we're gonna give you this dish, but then they had like ground pork that was sprinkled on top of it, which you can scrape off, I guess.
It's
kind
true.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there is sort of a cultural gap in terms of like what the understanding of like American vegetarianism is. But like with that said, there's like a lot of like traditional, like very good vegetarian food. And also, Hadley, if you're interested, right, one of my favorite cookbooks to come out in the last couple of years is called The Vegan Chinese Kitchen. The author is a woman named Hannah Che. She's currently living in China, and I think her Substack has some of the best like English language writing on vegetarian Chinese food. I actually made, speaking of like vegetarian dumplings, I made a recipe from her Substack from like a couple weeks or months ago. And yeah, it was a lot of little components. They were so delicious though, but they were like Northern style vegan Chinese dumplings. They were so good.
What's it called? The
Chinese kitchen?
Yeah, so it's called The Vegan Chinese Kitchen. It's her cookbook. She has all these like interesting gluten products. Where she's like making the noodles where you actually like take wheat flour and put it in water and you separate the starch and gluten components and you like make different things with both of them. And anyway, it's good. It's called The Vegan Chinese Kitchen, Hannah Che. I also highly recommend her Substack. She has a Substack that's really good, and that's where I got the vegan Northern style. It's a family recipe of hers. Her family, I think, is also from Harvey, maybe. But anyway, yeah, she has a really excellent Substack. And I just made those like Northern style dumplings of hers. So
we will check it out. We've been doing more like big cooking projects, like we made gnocchi and stuff, and we'll add dumplings to the list.
Yeah, empanadas, gnocchi. We've done a lot of like have friends over, make a buck ton of something that can be frozen.
And dumplings seem like a good night.
Yeah. Well, it's a great project.
I just realized fireworks here, by the way, on September 18th. They must have some left over. So
Wait, what? What about fireworks? What did you say?
In Brookland. My cat is totally freaked out. So yeah, anyway.
Also, I just realized all of our dumpling conversation has been recorded, so I'm going to stop the